Joining me is a man whose father's powerful legacy of leadership, entrepreneurship, and kingdom living has transformed the world. Despite the heartbreaking loss of both his parents, Myles Munroe Jr. is graciously blazing new trails globally. He and his sister are carrying on the mandate to transform followers into leaders, leaders into agents of change. Welcome, Myles Munroe Jr.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for joining us. Now, I said earlier before we came on, I feel especially honored to have been, I think, the only one, or I like to believe the only one, who's spoken to 3 generations in your family. So I had the opportunity to interview your father's father, your grandfather, your father a few times, now you as well.
So you're a very special individual.
I feel I'm special, baby. So when we talk to you, and most people talk to you, we talk about your parents, which is, I mean, they're a big part of your life, a big part of all our lives around the world. But Myles Munroe Jr., let me see if I can see from your lenses for a minute, if you would allow me. When you, in your world, when you think of your father, what are the pictures you see and what are the words you hear?
Well, one of the things that keeps repeating in my mind is Jesus is Lord. That's something he said all of the time in the house, whether he's in the car, at work. Jesus is Lord, and it was a declaration of him saying that, you know, the Lord is Jesus is the owner of everything here. So that's one of the things that sticks with me. And another thing is faith. You know, there's nothing that we can do in this life without faith. And I saw his faith in work on a daily basis. And it really taught me a lot. It strengthened my faith. It taught me how to have faith and the type of faith that we needed to have as we move through life. So when I think of him, and even, you know, now on a daily basis, that my constant reminders are, you know, the things that we go through in life. We do what we can, but ultimately, you know, we just have to have faith that the work that we've done will come to fruition in the future.
Now, you and Denzel Washington's son have such similarities, not only in terms of stature, physique, and also to a degree headspace, because John David speaks of, that's Denzel Washington's son, he speaks of a period in his life where he didn't want to be his father's son. Right. He ran away from it. Right. He rebelled so much from it that he wanted to be a football player, and what his passion was, an actor. You went through that in your journey where you didn't want to be the son of this great man. Right. Paint a picture for us of what was happening in your head in those years.
Yeah, there was so much expectations placed on my life, and obviously my sister's life as well. But for me, it was just like people just expected you to talk a certain way, react a certain way, and do certain things. And I just always felt like I'm an individual. Yes, I'm the son of Myles Munroe, this great individual, this great speaker, this motivational speaker. But, you know, I'm not him, right? So I wanted to have the opportunity to be myself, and not necessarily my parents, because, you know, they understood the originality that we had and individuality that we had, but it was everyone outside of our family that were putting those expectations on me. So it just caused me to just really, you know, for lack of a better word, hate being Myles Munroe's son. So that was a process that I had to really go through and develop an understanding and take on a responsibility more so than a burden, you know.
So you called your dad a genius. I've heard you call him that more than once. And I mean, the millions of us around the world who consider him a genius too. But you were running away from being this man, being like this man. What was the first thing you wanted to be? Growing up, I wanted to be a farmer. Well, actually, that's a lie. I wanted to be a safari hunter because I thought that was a job. Shooting wild game. Can you imagine? I'll get shot these days. But what was it? So you obviously didn't want to be a speaker or a preacher. What is it that you wanted to be?
I was always attracted to business. So I always wanted to own my own business. And essentially, you know, growing up, I loved amusement parks and theme parks. So I wanted to really own my own theme park.
No way.
Yeah, one of the things that I was really aspiring to be, and still aspire to be at some point. At some point in my life, I think I'll achieve that goal. But
wow.
Yeah, I never wanted to be a preacher or a speaker, but definitely, you know, just an entrepreneur.
Now, what was okay? Because I guess that reflects in the studying you did, because your MBA was in
a focus in entrepreneurial studies.
And so for you, is it the buzz of starting something new?
Yeah, I think
or
it's
the money or.
Well, I mean, obviously the money is
helps.
involved, but I think just coming up with or having a vision and coming up with an idea and being able to write that down and see it through, I think that's so fulfilling for me. And you know, I always like the process of, you know, developing something from start to finish. And I watch my dad do it all the time. And I always wanted to incorporate that in everything that I do. So, but from the business side of things.
Now, of course, now the work you and your sister are doing is the work of carrying on the legacy. I mean, as we say, training people to be leaders, leaders to be change agents. But is there a fear that Myles Jr. has of failure? If it is, what's your biggest fear?
The biggest fear I have is actually not attempting to do anything. You know, there's no fear of failure at all, because I think we are going to fail. So if there's a fear of failure, then you're not going to try to do anything, right? And that's one thing I learned from my dad 100%, because, you know, for him it was like, if you're not trying, you're not doing anything at all. So for me, failure, I always look at failure as a lesson. You know, there's always something that we can learn in things that we aren't able to achieve in order to achieve the things that we want to achieve.
You say if you're not trying, you're not doing anything at all. How do I know that what I'm trying is what I'm supposed to be doing?
I think it's just, it's almost like a gut feeling, right? Because you feel it's something that you're not going to have to do a lot of, it's going to take a lot of energy from you. Like, you're comfortable doing it, you're happy doing it, you get a lot of fulfillment doing it. And then even from the money aspect, the money doesn't matter, right? Because you're being fulfilled in so many other areas on the personal side that you could care less, you know, how much money you're making from it. Even though, you know, money is important and you need it, it's not the driving force of the decisions that you make.
Myles, please stay with us. We want to talk to you some more. Now, stay with us. We have more from Myles Jr. after the break.